this is a review on a Toyota Camry. This is April 2018 and this car is brand new. It's a hire car, and again I'm going to have it for a couple of weeks. I've only just started to drive it now, so I won't talk about the drive and so forth. I'll wait till I've had it for a couple of weeks before I do that. But one thing I have noticed is that the front of it, oh my gosh, really hangs out. If you have a look here, I've pulled up and touched the gutter. Touch the gutter with the wheel. It's a pretty standard sort of thing to do. But have a look at how much of it is hanging over the front. Look, if the front of the bonnet is normally the front of the car, that's certainly not the case here. Have a look here. There is so much car hanging out past that point, and it's all just plastic sticking out there too. So they've really tended to go for a very long look. But already, once pulling out of a parking spot, you really notice that much front sticking out, and it's pretty low, of course. But there's a great look on it, and it's a very long, sleek car, but they've really added length to it, you can see as well. Have a look at that as it sits, it's really quite long. Lovely snow-capped mountain over the back there. Let someone put in the comments if they can work out where I am. I'm in California, I'll give that much of a hint. But, we'll get back to this car when I've driven it a little bit more. So the boot space is really impressive. We've hired a few cars on this trip, and this is the only one I was able to get 3 big suitcases into. So you have a look, it's very square, and I've got 2 suitcases, particularly this black one here is really big and thick. So I'll lift them all out so you can see that it really is a good boot space, and it's well shaped in that it's very square in there, which goes well for square suitcases. So if you have a look at all those suitcases, as I said, they are really quite fat, which has made them hard to get in. They fit in there quite well. The only disappointing thing up there's that big black thing that's stuck down that stopped the suitcase from really pushing in, and that is actually, if you look in there, there's a seat belt coming out. So it's just a seat belt which sticks down there, but other than that, a very good square shaped large boot. And you got the little pull handles here, that's to pop the back seats so they can release and go down. And then down under here we actually have a spare tyre. Is that going to have a hook to hook up? No, that's a little bit too much to ask. Under here we've got a wheel spanner, which is a giveaway that there's actually going to be a spare tyre, and a jack handle and 2 bits of plastic. There's your jack there, and then a space saver wheel down there. You can see temporary use only. Has it got the speed on it? It doesn't say, but anyway, it's a space saver wheel down there. It's interesting, that's a different colour down there than what the actual colour of the car is. This car is brand new, so that's not because of an accident, that's just because it's been sprayed a different colour. So I've got the space saver. Has it? I don't even know what they are. A bit of foam which sits in there, but the big impressive thing was how square the boot was, and therefore the luggage went in nice and easy. So this is going to be a very thorough test, because we're up in the mountains and driving this car around and enjoying it, by the way, but we're going to get to do a cold start too. It's below freezing. I don't think I'll have to convince anybody that it's below freezing. So we'll get to see how this guy goes with a cold start as well. So it's only -2. So I know this is all going to be fine, but we'll give it a go anyway. I'll just get that off there so it doesn't fall inside the car. Let's hop in and... Oop, it just auto-locked itself. I was too slow. here we go. We're snowed in, but at -2, I've driven plenty of cars like this, so I know this car will be fine. There you go. Comes to life, no worries at all. So while we're in here, we'll do a bit more of the review while we're all snowed in. The screen is a great size and easy to use. It's very, very basic though, this one. It doesn't have climate control, so you're adjusting your heater manually. It's a rental car, so that's why. And the shifter's nice. It's a good feel, good car. I like how it drives. It is a class above the little Ford Focus we just drove at the Hyundai that we had not that long ago. I'll put those links up to those reviews throughout this video. Good controls here for your stereo controls and hooking up your phone and so forth. And over here for the cruise control. But again, in a dark cabin, this is hard to use, and it's also very different to any other cruise control I've ever used before. I was driving along the road doing 70s. I pressed the plus button to get it to go up a little bit. I was on about 60. I took it up to about 65 mile an hour, and then I let it off, and it just kept on going. 70, 75. So I then stopped it and set it. It appears that you press it and it goes up until you press it again to stop it. But even that, I wasn't quite sure. You know, I've been driving this for a few days now, and I haven't worked it out. And that's bad for a cruise controller. It should just make sense and be able to work it out straight away. But very hard to get it to go back to a speed that you want and things like that. It's been a bit all over the place. You turn it off and on the side, but I'm gonna have to play with this one a bit more to work out how that works. The lane assist is here. You can turn that off, so it'll give a beep if you go outside the white lines. Again, I'm up in the country, out in the outback, so not all the roads have lines, yellow lines, white lines, whatever colour. And the cruise control, I haven't actually got up close to another car to see if it'll slow down on the cruise control yet, but that's what that's for. So it's got all the latest gadgets and really, really good. You see in the dash there, the lane assist there. So there you go, it's saying it's 37 outside. That's with the front all snowed in. Oh, it's probably with the engine running. But look, very happy with the car. It's a level of refinement above the other cars that I was talking about. And it drives nicely, very solid on the road, and feels really good. So yeah, this is a nice car, and as your full-size family car, of course it would be great. The only thing I would fault it on, and this is simply because I'm a BMW guy, is that the way it tracks on the road. When you're driving mountain roads or even big sweeping bends, it doesn't track like a BMW, but hey, it's not a BMW, so that's probably not a fair comparison. But everything else, really nice, really refined, good levels. There's a USB and a 12-volt power outlet down there, and no, there's nothing in there. That's all clean. Good sized cup holders in a great position. So yeah, it's performed well and done really, really good. So here's an example of how Toyota's new cruise control works. The cruise control, if you look up in the top corner there, is set for 71, and the speed is about 59, and that's because there's a truck in front, and the car is setting its distance, setting its speed from the truck in front, so the cruise control is adjusted down. Now, if you see here on the dash, you got these buttons here. The car's now going to accelerate because I've shortened the gap. Now the truck's going to leave and I'm going to get a trailer, and you watch this, it will slam on the brakes in a second. Here we go, slamming on the brakes, getting a little bit close, but now it's going to adjust itself and position itself out again. So it's a bit freaky when it's doing all that for you, but you get here this button right there, you get to adjust. That's now back to 3. You can either have 2 or 1 as to how far the distance is, and that's the distance at 3. So yeah, it's self-adjusting. You've got the lane assist on as well. If I get too close to the lane, it'll beep. That beep, 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 and carry on. So yeah, great little system, and it works. It's smooth enough and works really well. Okay, so I've done some videos on how to set the clocks in different cars and things like this. Toyota wins for the absolute easiest setting a clock. This is a 2018 Toyota Camry, and we are going to show you how to set the clock. When the display comes up, you'll see the numbers up the top there. That's the clock. So let's have a look at how to set the clock. You touch the time, and all of a sudden you've got all of this here for the time zone, whether you want daylight savings time to automatically adjust or not, 24-hour time frame, so that you know, from 1 o'clock it'll show 13 instead of 1, and you can just adjust your hours like here. Hit the minus, it'll go down, hit the plus, it'll go up, your minutes there. Absolutely simple. And then how do you get it back to its normal operation? You hit that. So there you go, how to adjust the clock on a Toyota, and OMG, oh my gosh, that is absolutely by far the easiest. Adjust the time, touch the time, off you go. Okay, so here it is, the actual review of a 2018 Toyota Camry, or for all I know in America it's probably a 2019 Toyota Camry. And I gotta say it, I'm impressed. Normally I review cars that we hire and things like this. Had this for a week and a half, and was going to get really busy for the last little bit, so probably last chance to take some time and actually review it. I'm impressed with the looks. I think it looks really good. It drives really good. We loaded it up with luggage, absolutely chock-a-block. The boot had someone in the back seat, and it didn't drive too well then because we've got the thing out of balance, but I mean that's pretty standard for any car. What actually happened in that situation was because of all the weight, there's a bit of overhang on the back wheel there. All that weight was back, and it just took the weight off the front wheels, even though the engine and two people were in the front seats, and it made it a bit wandery on the roads and all the rest of it. But look, this is a good car. It drives well. As I say with all my other reviews, I normally drive BMW, so I'm a hard critic on how cars like this drive. But this is nice to drive. It feels safe, it feels comfortable. It's got electronics, like, you know, my 11-year-old BMW's got, and what that means, we actually took it up to the snow. I'll probably insert a photo here of when we had it up in the snow, and basically playing around up there, it was impossible to make it skid or slip. It's got electronics on the brakes so that when you tramp the brakes in slow, wet, slippery conditions, it didn't lock up. And the same thing, if you tramped it, put your foot down, it wouldn't spin the wheels either, which a normal car would do, because it's got the electronics, and for me, the same as what a BMW has always had, that's given it leaps and bounds over other cars. This one had it as well, so it makes them really, really safe in those sorts of situations, because you can just do so much and you won't lose control of the car. It's a great little key that we've got here, lock, unlock. You get used to where the buttons are. Again, I'm used on a BMW that they've all got the big central BMW badge, which is lock, and then the unlock is above it. These are a little bit hard because they're not illuminated or raised up. It's hard to know which is which. The bottom one you press and hold open the boot, but the other two, it's hard to know which is which. They'll get that eventually. It's got a little flick key, hit the button, flick it out. That's always fun when you're bored. But totally impressive. You're considering this car, I've driven it for 2 weeks and totally happy with it. It's really nice inside, like the stitching on the leathers, and just the lines in here. Look at how they've folded it under, they've put thought and design into it, and it really, really looks the part, drives the part, is the part. So you've got your controls here. I'll turn it around for you, how's that? This is the your menu controls, which work the big touchpad over here. This is the stuff for the phone, and down here is all of your cruise control. You'll see previously in the video I've mentioned that's funky. That took a bit of getting used to. Now, lane assist controls. Now this is an interesting one. My mother-in-law actually bought a new Toyota, and one of the big reasons was I want the lane assist to beep while she's going off. Now, what it does, it actually, when you've got white lines on the side and in the middle of the road, which is a lot of the times, if you drift right close to the edge, it will give a beep to remind you that you're doing that. Now, I was out on mountain roads and all the rest of it, and my father taught me how to take a corner by heading for the apex of a corner and cornering. I'll put up another video about that in time. If you do that while you're driving this car with the lane assist turn on, it just beeps all the time because you're heading over to the lines and trying to maximize your straight driving line through a corner. So that was a bit painful when you're actually wanting to drive the car and have a bit of fun with it. So, but it's very easy to turn off. Just single touch on the button and it's gone. And this is the distance for the cruise control as well. So yeah, all great controls. It's an auto, so nice and easy. And it's got an illuminated panel here, so it's easy to see. Lots of plugs. I think I did this right at the start. But here you've got a cigarette lighter here and a USB here, so that you plug an iPhone in through your USB cord. It means you get your music up straight away. Nothing inside. And again, the locks are on that side as well, so not just your window but also the door locks are on that side. No buttons on it, so no indicators, but you know, really good quality, comfortable seats, bit of bolstering in them to hold you in place. Just a good car. I'm happy. As I said, been driving this for a week and a half. It's a good looking car, it's a good size. We managed to get a heap of luggage in there. The boot space is good. I showed some stuff earlier again about getting all those suitcases in there. It's done the best out of all the cars so far. So there you go, Toyota Camry. I'm impressed. Really good electronics, really good anti-skid stuff. And again, you can turn that off here. You've got a boot release, petrol release. This is auto headlights. This is not auto headlights as in they turn off and on by themselves. This is actually auto high beam, that the high beam will dip down by itself. So again, just a whole lot of impressive electronics on here that works. So yeah, if you're considering a Toyota Camry, I would have no hesitation in saying that they're really, really good. I drove one of these more than 10 years ago. There was a company car that I drove, and again, just a base level, and it was really tinny, not refined at all. And noisy, and again, would have been fine around town, but as soon as you got it out on a trip, it was just tinny and thin. And this guy, none of that. It has a refinement. That's a phone holder I've put on, so don't worry about that. None of that. Very refined car, very comfortable to drive. It's not a BMW, but boy, it's close. It's really good, and I would have no problems recommending it. That front spoiler definitely annoys me. Have a look at how low that is. That is not a big gutter. You pull it here and it still scrapes. And look how far it's gone over. So, I mean, this is a normal parking spot. And as it is, sticking out a little bit from the parking spot. But with a gutter like that, you know, I'm going to be another foot and a half further down. So it's just so big. It's almost rubber, pretty fine, but it's hard. It's hard plastic. So there is no doubt that you're going to get yourself in trouble. It looks great, but I think they needed to make it out of a more flexible material because, yeah, that's just going to break off. So there you go. There's this great big Chevy truck beside me, and it's got a lip of rubber on the bottom. It makes a whole lot more sense. So I've been driving this Toyota Camry for a couple of weeks now, and I'm just going to do a little video on where the heck do you dim the dash lights, because in amongst all these instrument clusters down here, this is sitting in the driver's position, you really can't see that in under there's two little, looking through the steering wheel now, or around the steering wheel to show you this, you've got the odometer reset here, and you've got the dash lights dimming and brightening here. But that's something that I hadn't been able to find because it's not within a direct line of vision from where I was sitting anyway. It's yeah, up and over. Maybe if you were taller you'd be able to see it. So there it is. It's from the steering wheel here. It's on the dash right here. So behind the stalk, you got the trip reset there, and you've got the odometer, the odometer, speedo, everything. That's your dash lights, brightening and dulling. right there. So there they are, hidden, and I'm sure there's people who haven't been able to find them, but once you know where they are, then they're really simple. You got your, just down here below them, you've got opening your petrol cap, opening your boot, turning off the electronics, the traction control system, and that there is the high beam, automatic high beam dipping.